welcome. This is a beginner's series practice that's going to feel a bit like a tutorial, and we are going to look at fundamental standing postures in our yoga practice today. And these are standing postures that you will find in most yoga classes, whether you're doing Hatha yoga class or Vinyasa yoga class. So we are going to approach this from an alignment perspective. So we might be holding these poses quite long. So of course at any time when you need to, just back off. Some of these instructions are really dependent on, I would say, like body proportions. So sometimes something might look different in your body, and I always say use comfort as your teacher. So if something feels uncomfortable, explore around your body and change something to see if you can make it feel a little bit more comfortable. So I am still recovering from a broken ankle. So on my right side, there may be some things that are restricted for me. So follow my words as opposed to what I do, and I'll point it out to you when we get there. Okay, so let's begin, but let's start like this. Take a moment to sit, and this is called easy pose. Bring one foot in front of your groin, the other ankle crosses in front of it, and just sit up tall for a moment. Close down your eyes and take a moment to relax your body. When we do yoga practice, as best as we can, we want to try not to attack our bodies. So we want to start from a place that feels relaxed, that feels connected. Bring your attention to your breath. And just for 5 rounds, follow your breath in and out of your body. Start to make each breath a little deeper, a little fuller. Until you find a breath that feels good for you to follow today. So all these yoga poses that we're doing, we're trying to improve the circulation in our body. Circulation whether in a physical sense or an energetic sense. And the breath plays a very important role in this work. Lovely. Now once you feel like you have that, roll your shoulders back and start to blink your eyes open and roll the shoulders forwards. And to bring your hands on top of your knees and inhale, lift your spine and roll your shoulders back and draw your chest forwards. And then lean back slightly and hollow your belly, so round your spine and drop your head. Again, inhale, lift the sides of your body, roll the shoulders back. And exhale, round and press away. One more like this before we begin. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. And inhale, come up right. So we're going to start in standing position at the top of our mat. And really fundamentally, all yoga poses start from what we call mountain pose. Your first pose, which is Tadasana. Tadasana means mountain pose. So in Tadasana, you want to stand. I like to have my feet hip distance apart. Or in some traditions, they like to have their feet together, toes touching, ankles touching, or a space between your ankles. Personally, I feel take a position and then decide what feels most comfortable for you in my body. And hip distance means not this hip distance, this is outer hip distance, hip bone distance apart. So not too wide and not too narrow. And I feel like fundamentally this is the most ideal position for me in mountain pose. In some traditions they have their palms turned open, so the shoulders open. But if you're able to do this with your hands by your side, that's good too. So I'll just come to the side so you can see. Now in mountain pose, you want your feet rooted down, your tailbone is lengthening down, and your ribs, the lower ribs right here, you want to draw it down and towards each other, so you feel like they're cinching towards each other. So this is what happens if I do too much tuck in my tailbone. If I pick up my arms, you can see clearer. If I tuck my tailbone too much, I end up looking like this. So then I want to balance it out by drawing my ribs down and back. So you want to find the middle part of your body, so that you're lengthening your tailbone and drawing the ribs and the pubic bone down, so you feel like you're meeting in the center of your body. And all the standing poses should have this engagement or this attention anyway. So in Tadasana, feet are rooting down, and many things start from our feet. So root them down evenly, press into the earth, lift your thighs up, lift the inner thighs up, lengthen your tailbone, draw the lower ribs down, relax your shoulders, broaden your collarbones, and then lift the crown of your head up towards the sky. Close your eyes for a moment and feel this alignment in your body. And check in if you're gripping too much in any part of your body. And if you are, just let it go and see if you can tone down the muscular engagement so that you're doing the action, but not at 100%. I would say make it 50% today, because anything less might be a bit challenging at the beginning of your practice. And then see if you can get comfortable in this alignment of Tadasana. Tadasana is actually quite challenging, just standing upright. Like I said, it is the scaffolding of all the standing postures. One more breath, inhale and exhale. So imprint that in your mind. And we start with Utkatasana, which means chair pose. Bring your hands onto your hip bones, and you want to shift your hip bones back. Now when you shift your hips back, your knees don't go back or don't go forward, so keep them exactly where they are. Shift it back and let your body drop forwards a teeny bit. You can bring your hands onto your thighs and just push into your thighs to get upright. And yoga is a lot about spine health, all about spine health. So think, don't compensate in your spine. So you want a nice long spine. And again, if I tuck my tailbone too much, I look like this. We don't want to walk around looking like this. If I drop my belly, I look like this. Don't want to walk around looking like this either. So find Tadasana. Draw the lower ribs down towards your hips. Lengthen your tailbone and find the midline of your body, and then extend your arms forwards, like so. Now from here, you start to pick your arms up, and if possible, you want this wonderful line all the way down towards your hips. But if it causes you to pick up your shoulders, you can look at the video where you can look at the series with the shoulder alignment to help you determine where your shoulders should be. So as you press into your feet, extend your arms fully and draw the lower ribs down and lengthen your tailbone down. Your legs are working, your feet are working, all parts of your body working. One more breath here, breathe in. Now to come back upright, press into your feet and inhale, come upright, stretch out, and exhale, release. So I see in class many times it's passive. When people go inhale, lift your arms up, it's kind of like that. But you want to really fully engage every part of your body, from your feet all the way up to your fingertips. Everything is always in practice. So come to the top of your mat. Let's start. Bring your hands onto your hips, and let's habitually step out wide. So we're going to stay on the right leg and step your left foot back, and then swivel around to face the front. And then just check in how you've stepped back. I haven't stepped back evenly, so I'm going to bring my feet so they are on one line. And the question is, how far apart? For most of the standing lunges, you want to be about wrist distance apart, or work towards that. And again, if your bones are stacked built in a different way, this might feel a little strange. So this is just a guide. So imagine if I tied a string down from my wrist, it should hit about the center of my ankle. And if your legs are not ready to go there yet, bring them a little closer. So this is called Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So I want to engage foot pattern on my right foot. So I'm going to turn my right heel halfway in, and then I'm going to turn my right toes halfway out. So now all my 5 toes are pointing in that direction. Now if your hips feel really horrible in this pose, turn your left heel slightly out to the side, so it's at an angle, but eventually you want to work your toes forwards. And now, habitually, the body wants to stand in this way, because this is easy to just hang out here in the joint. So you want to draw that left hip down and try to get your hip bones even. So it doesn't matter if you're evenly facing forwards, it's okay to be like this, but try to get the hip bones even in its horizontal plane. And then from here, look at what's going on in that right knee. Draw the right knee out to the right so your knee tracks over your second toe. Engage your right foot strongly, pick up your toes. I know your legs are burning. See if you can sink down a teeny bit more, and I'll take you off the pose in a minute. So sink your thighs down, and the idea is eventually to get your right thigh parallel to the floor, like so. The back leg supports everything. So come off the pose for a moment and turn your and then toe heel your left foot in. Now we're going to step forwards. So if you can, habitually one step forwards back to the top of your mat. Shake out your legs if you need to. Big breath in. Relax as you exhale. Let's do that again. Bring your hands back onto your hips and step out wide. And then check in again if you've stepped your feet evenly so that they're in one line. Let's go into the left side. So again, the foot pattern to come into this alignment is left heel halfway in and left toes halfway out. So what happens is you're trying to find this alignment where the front heel is aligned with the center of your back arch. So we'll get into that in a second. So again, if you look, I naturally want to stand in this way. So again, I even out the hips and bend your left knee. To make sure the knee, because the knee wants to collapse inwards, make sure the knee is tracking over your second big toe. And now, as your legs sink down, you want to feel like you're picking the whole side body up. So if you imagine, if my hands are on your hips and then drawing your hips down and keeping it there, and you pick the side of your body up, like you're growing your spine out of your hips. And now you have this engagement where the legs are rooting down, but your spine is lifting up and the pose still feels super strong. The back leg is doing all the work. So imagine like you're rooting the outside edge of your right foot down and pulling up the inner leg up and then pulling everything up. Sink down a teeny bit more. Now extend your arms and look towards your left fingertips. Hold here. Breathe in. Exhale. Let it go. Good. Now toe heel your right foot in and step forwards. One step if you can. Back into Tadasana. Stand here for a moment. And find your mountain pose once again. Engage your feet down, arms by your side. If your shoulders are closed, turn your palms open, broaden your collarbones, and close down your eyes. If you needed to, shake out your legs. Big breath in. And out. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands back onto your hips. Lift your gaze, look forwards. You're going to step your right foot back and then spin and swivel around. Here we go. Once again. So, legs are wide. You want the work to feel interesting in your work, in your pose. So if your legs are not wide enough and you feel like you're just hanging out, then step out wider. So if you remember the foot pattern, right heel halfway in, toes halfway out, all 5 toes pointing forwards. Sink that left hip down, sink both hips down, move that right knee out and pick up your trunk. Now extend your arms and look over to the right. Now your arms, you want to feel like you're broadening your collarbones from the center of your body. Everything is reaching out into your fingertips. There's a tendency to want to reach forwards like this. Come upright. Again, you want to feel this alignment. Spine is reaching out of your sit bones and your legs are doing all the work. And your arms are reaching out. You feel like a warrior, ready for battle. So here too, draw the lower ribs down and lengthen your tailbone down without tucking, and you feel the midline of your body nice and strong. Press into your right feet and inhale, straighten the right leg. Hands come onto your hips. If you can step forwards from here, go ahead. I need to take a little step forwards and then come back here and maybe shake out your legs. And this is just one, one yoga pose. Breathe in. We're gonna do a total of 5 yoga poses today. Big breath in. And out. Always habitually come back to mountain pose and habitually come back to your breath. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands back onto your hips. Step the left foot out and swivel your toes forwards. Adjust your feet. Left side. Left heel halfway in. Left toes out. If you need more space, turn the right toes forwards. Well, at an angle. Even out the hips. Bend your left knee and reach your arms apart. Look to the left. Sense as well that there's so much space in your sideways. You're drawing the hips down and pulling the ribs up and then broadening your collarbones. Lower ribs down. Crown of your head reaching up towards the sky. And you feel like Tadasana is happening in your pose. You find the midline of your body and you expand out in all directions. Check as well that you're not over engaging your muscles. You want length and space, so you don't want to feel like you're tightening all your muscles. That's no fun for your nervous system. Left sideways is lifting up. One more breath. I know your legs are burning. Bend your knees a teeny bit more. Breathe in. Press into your left foot. Straighten your legs. Toe heel your foot. Right foot in and step forwards to the front of your mat and shake out your legs. So now you've done Warrior 2. Let's bring your feet together. Have your big toes side by side. Chair pose again. Bring your hands onto your hips and shift your hips back. Tip your weight forwards first. And then start to pick up your spine as best as you can and extend your arms forwards. And then go through the alignment. Draw the lower ribs down. Draw your tailbone long. Lengthen the sides of your body. Reach into your hands but press into your feet. 2 more breaths. Breathe in. And out. Imagine like your inner thighs are squeezing down and back. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale into your feet. And inhale, climb up. And exhale. Release. Yeah. So for Trikonasana, triangle pose, because it's not like the other lunge poses where you need your legs to be quite wide apart. So in Trikonasana, we're going to step out again. But this time, you will hear sometimes it's about 1 leg length apart. But for Trikonasana, when your hamstrings start to open, you can go way wider too. There are different thoughts about this, about how you want to stretch your legs. So now turn your right toes forwards, and here's where I can't put my toes down. You go ahead and keep your feet flat. And you want to start to pull both legs up this time. Lengthen upwards, and if you have something to elevate your ground, that would be great, like a block. I like to keep the block just outside of my ankle for now. Take your arms up and find length first, and then traverse forwards. Keep reaching forwards and reach both sideways forwards. Bring your hands down onto your shins, or if you have a block, your wrist should be right under your shoulder, so not too far forwards and not too far back. And then once you're there, push down onto your right hand to pick the sides of your body up and swivel slightly round. This hip is reaching down to the outside edge of your foot. So bring this left arm forwards and lean back without bending your elbow, and pick your left arm up and then look up towards your left hand. But if you have any neck issues, you can keep your gaze down. Now as you look up, pull your spine more forwards, but also balance that out by pulling the rib cage, pulling the ribs in and towards each other. Your arms are stretching apart. There's no pressure on this right wrist, so you're not putting all your weight into the right hand. You're using your hand to give you height. Breathe in. Exhale, look down. Press into your right foot and inhale, come up. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot out. Let's try that again on the left side. So this is super important if you're using a prop or even putting your hands on the floor or on your shin. You are not putting your weight into that connection. You are actually lifting, using that connection to push the ground away to give you a lot of space. That is the reason why the hand is there, not for you to chill out on it. So here we go. Pull your legs up, but root your feet down. Lift your arms. Traverse forwards. So imagine like you're drawing this left hip in but lengthening your spine forwards, and then root that outer right hip down towards your foot. Bring your left hand down, remember right under your shoulder, whether it's on your shin or on the block. Bring the right hand forwards and then draw the right arm back and lean into your back body. Lift your right arm up and then look up towards your right hand. Now extend to the crown of your head. Draw the lower ribs down so you're not arching. Yeah. Not trying to take this arm any further back. It is right stacked over your shoulders. So if you want to move your arm more back, turn your trunk more open. Keep your feet strongly pressing down and draw your tailbone long. Breathe in. Exhale, look down. And inhale, come back up. And exhale. Toe heel your foot in and step forwards to the front of your mat. So far we've done Tadasana, and as you can see, everything has the alignment of Tadasana. Lower ribs drawing down, tailbone lengthening, find a midline, find length in the side of your body, never contracting the back of your leg. Feet are fully engaged. So you have Tadasana, mountain pose, Utkatasana, chair pose, Trikonasana, triangle pose, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. And now we're going to go into side angle pose, which is called Utthita Parshvakonasana. So for this again, you can use a block to bring the floor to you, or there is an option here. So let's come to the top again. Have your feet hip distance apart and hands come onto your hips. Let's step out wide. You want to be in a nice wide stance for this, because this is a deep lunge, a bit like warrior 2, I would say, very much like warrior 2. So let's take the foot pattern, turn the right heel halfway in and your toes out. If you need more space, and for this one most people would feel more comfortable if you turned that back foot at an angle, I would say close to 45 degrees if you want to get pedantic with these numbers. Start to bend this knee. Now you can bring your forearm onto your thigh like so. The knife edge of my forearm is pressing the thigh open, and I'm pushing down to lift, to elevate. So I'm not dumping this way. I'm pushing down to elevate that sideways. And then I'm pressing down the outside edge of my left foot, but pulling the inner leg up. And then from that engagement, I'm reaching all the way to the crown of my head. Now your arms, do this. Bring your arms by your side and lean back, but draw the lower ribs in and lengthen your tailbone. And then imagine like you're scanning the horizon, and bring your arms, if you can't bring it all the way to your face, keep it right there. Draw the shoulders, pull the shoulders into the socket. Again, you can follow the shoulder series to just find that alignment. And from here, push into the inner thigh to keep your knee tracking over your second toe. Maybe look up towards the ceiling. And again, check that you're not arching your back. You're engaging everything into the midline. Let's do this. Bring your left hand down to the floor like this and swivel onto your left toes. And then take a little step forwards with your left foot if you're quite wide, and step your foot forwards. Bring your hands onto your shins and lengthen your spine. Maintain that length, bring your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest to come up and press your feet down. Inhale, come up, lengthen the tailbone down, and exhale, arrive. Take a breath in. And out. One more breath. Inhale, if you need to shake out your legs. Exhale, hands into your hips. Step out wide again. Here we go. So let's do that all over again, and then I'll show you the variation with the block. So turn your left heel halfway in and your toes out. Remember, aligning the front heel to the center of your back, the arch of your back foot. Anywhere along the arch of the back foot that feels comfortable. If you like, angle that right toes in. So start to bend your knee and go into the lunge, and bring the knife edge of your forearm just slightly, not directly on top, but slightly to the inside of your thigh. So again, the easy way would be to stand like this. Think about drawing that right hip down, but press the outside edge of your right foot down. Lengthen your spine towards the crown of your head. Bring your right hand forwards, lean back, lengthen even more, and then sweep your arms any amount to the side of your face. Let's keep going. And again, check. If I take this arm off, am I still in the pose or do I fall away? So you're pushing down. You are resting a little bit on that arm, but there is some engagement in holding yourself up through your legs. Breathe in. Check again. Breathe out. You shouldn't change your shape. One more breath here. Inhale. Bring your right hand down. Come onto your toes. If you need to, step a little forwards first, and then step your right foot forwards. Once you arrive, bring your hands onto your shins and lengthen your spine. Check that you're not dumping your belly. Bring your hands onto your hips. Exhale a breath. You can bend your knees a little, but lengthen the tailbone. Press into your feet. Lift your chest to come up. And exhale. Breathe in. If you need to, shake out your legs. Inhale. Exhale. One breath. Lovely. Hands to hips. Step out wide. I'm going to show you two different positions to place your block. So if you don't have a block, you can use, I like the idea of kind of using a water bottle. If you have a water bottle with a flat top, that could do too. Anything that helps you elevate the floor to you. So here we go. We're going to go on the right side again. Right heel halfway in, toes out, foot pattern engaged, not dumping your hips, not standing in this funky way. We don't really want to end up walking like this, so nice and straight. Bend your knee. If you have a tendency of this knee collapsing inwards, sometimes, our hips are built in a different way. So just investigate if this is uncomfortable, you need to shift that back foot more in. So I'm going to first place the block under my shoulder, inside of my leg. So I need to go lower, otherwise it makes no sense for me. You can stay high. I want my arm inside of my thigh to keep my knee pointing forwards, and then I start to push against my thigh to help me twist open and sink into the lunge a little bit deeper. Eventually you want to work towards this thigh being parallel to the floor, and then take that same engagement. My back leg is doing all the work. It's not passive at all. This is holding up the whole pose, I would say. So pressing my foot down, lifting the inner thighs, and sweep your arms alongside your ears and maybe look up. If you have neck issues, look down. Or just keep your head at neutral. So I'm stretching from the edge of my foot all the way into the edge of my fingertips. Okay. When this starts to become comfortable, I'm going to come up. I'm going to go the other way. I'll show you the other side. So go to the left side. When that starts to become comfortable, you can work your block to the outside of your leg. So for the outside of the leg, you have to move your thigh to your arm without any help, without any leverage from your arm. So now you have to actually engage this leg. So right here again, you want to make sure that arm is right under, your wrist is right under arm. Try not to collapse into the arm again. Push down, pull up, and then reach that top arm. And now you're pushing against your arm. You need to be able to turn your torso on your own using your muscular power. Root down the outside edge of your right foot and stretch, extend your arms without pulling your shoulders into your ears. You're also not pulling it down like this. You want full extension. If you don't have a prop, you can just bring your hands onto your ankles, like so. You just have to work a little harder, or like this. So if you're progressing from here, going a little deeper, you can reach towards your ankles, forwards or back. Press into your feet. And inhale, climb up. And exhale. Good. And step forwards to the front or the back. Anywhere you like. Shake out your legs. Come back into Tadasana. Big breath in. And out. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. One last standing posture for you for this series. Bring your hands onto your hips and step up wide again. And I would say this is the width that you're going for the lunge again, apart from Trikonasana, which again, you can step into a wide Trikonasana. It feels really good also. So now turn your right toes forwards and swivel onto your left toes. So swivel onto the left toes, like so. Bring your hands onto your right thigh. And now think, I'm going to send my left hip forwards, but by doing that I need to send my right hip back also. Now this back leg is like an arrow. I'm stretching the leg back. Draw the lower ribs down and lengthen your tailbone, and you find this shape of lunge, and then I'm going to lunge a little deeper. Bring your arms forwards and start to come upright. Now if you come upright and you feel stuck here and you're not able to come any more upright, bend your back knee without dropping your hip. So imagine like you're pushing the left thigh forwards and continue to lengthen your tailbone, and then pull your ribs back. Now lift your arms up. You're not trying to take your arms far back like this. Bring them so they're aligned with the side of your body. Eventually you can straighten that leg and come upright. So for the beginning, if it restricts you from coming up, bend, lengthen your tailbone, and pick your spine up. Make your legs work for you. Breathe in. The more you pull your legs in, the more you can lift your spine up. One more breath here. You're going to bring your hands down like you did, and from here, see if you can step your left foot forwards. Bring your hands onto your shins, lift your spine. Hands onto your hips, exhale the breath. Maintain the muscular engagement, lift your chest, draw the tailbone down, rise up. Tadasana, back to stand. Big breath in. And down. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Second side, hands come onto your hips and step out wide and swivel around. So you're going to turn your left toes completely forwards. So the difference between, I'll explain that in a second. Swivel onto your right toes and bring your hands onto your left thigh. Swivel the left hip down and the right hip moves back. The left buttock goes under, and then turn that right leg along. Pull the ribs down and lengthen your tailbone. Bring your arms forwards and start to come upright. And again, if it feels restricted and you start to feel, so what happens is, if you feel restricted, your back compensates and you start to go into this shape, which is not so fun for your back, unless you're doing a lunge back bend, which is a different pose. So from here, you need to bend that back knee and pull out of the sit bones. You want to feel so much length going on in your sacrum, in your lower back. There's no compression, and you're pulling upwards, and your legs are doing the work in the lunge. If you like, bend the front knee deeper. Breathe in. Keep lengthening your arm bones up. Hold here. Check again, you're not flaring your ribs out. Tone your belly. Big breath in. And exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Step forwards. Hands onto your shins. Lengthen halfway. Hands come onto your hips. Inhale, lift your chest and lengthen your tailbone. Come upright. And exhale. So this is for most bodies. If I was in a lunge, for example, in your warrior lunges, you have this kind of halfway in, halfway out ankle to arch of your foot. It gives you the freedom in your hips to move. But this doesn't really work in Trikonasana because it imbalances your hips because you're coming down into this plane, and that's why we go heel to heel. So we stay in one plane. So really, in some classes and in some systems you will hear it's always heel to heel. So again, go with what feels symmetrical for your hips, what feels most comfortable for your hips. It might be, heel to arch could be anywhere along the arch of the foot, not necessarily the middle. And I have worked my body to align to the center of the arch of the foot because it feels optimal for my hips. So go with what feels best for you. So, last pose. So now we have Tadasana, Utkatasana, Trikonasana, Virabhadrasana 2, Utthita Parshvakonasana, and then lunge asana. So let's come into some wide leg forward bend. So how wide? Now the closer your legs are together, it's more demand on your hamstrings. So you want them wide enough that you feel like you're working the inner legs and your hamstrings at the same time, but not so wide that you feel like you're going into box splits. So find a distance that starts to feel interesting in your legs, that your legs are already working, even as you stand in the pose, even as you stand without actually coming into the pose. If you want to elevate your floor, if your hamstrings are really tight, you can take two objects or one big object and bring it right under your shoulders to begin with, until your hands come to the floor comfortably. And sometimes, if your hamstrings are not completely open and you bring your feet closer together, it's going to be harder for you to bring your hands down. So bring yourselves closer to the floor. So my legs are engaging in the same way. Outer edge is pushing down to the floor. So from my hip, from my outer hip, I feel like I'm engaging my leg all the way into the outer edge of my foot. From my arch of the foot, I'm pulling up the inside of my leg, and from here I'm extending the spine forwards. Once this is, and it's happening in both directions, down and up and forwards. So once that's comfortable, you can go a little lower with your block, and eventually the hands come down. Now you want to be able to extend the lower back forwards, and you want to keep your hips almost stacked over your ankles, so you're tipping more forwards than you think. And then from here, once you're able to maintain the length in your lower back, your upper back can start to round, and you can bring your head down any amount towards the floor. So as long as you're able to maintain this length, so you don't want to be forward bending like this, you want to be able to maintain that length, but you also want to keep it balanced. So if you're very flexible and you're able to really draw that lower back in, balance it out by lengthening your tailbone down, and the belly's always engaged. Eventually the hands come in line with your feet. Are my feet aligned? And if your head comes to the floor evenly and you feel like no work is happening anymore, walk your feet a little closer. Your hands, they are about outer shoulder distance apart, and you're pushing forwards with your hands, and that allows your spine to descend down to the floor. And then tip your weight slightly forwards. Draw the shoulders up into your back. Breathe in and down. Push into your hand and lengthen your spine. Come halfway up. Bring your hands onto your hips. Maintain the strength in your legs. Lift your chest to come up. Lengthen your tailbone down. And exhale. Toe heel your feet together and step forwards to the front of your mat. So let's link it together and see how that feels. Come to the top of your mat. Stand with your feet together or apart. Breathe in and out. Start in Tadasana. Look straight ahead. Engage your legs, engage your feet down towards the earth. Broaden your collarbones. Big breath in. Exhale, bring your hands onto your hips. Sink your hips back. And inhale, lift your arms up. Utkatasana. Pull the lower ribs down and lengthen your tailbone down. Breathe in. And out. Maybe sink a little deeper. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Into your feet, inhale, climb up, and exhale, bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale the breath, you can bend your knees a little. Step your left foot back and spin open. Make sure your feet are in one line. Take your arms up as you inhale. Turn your right heel in, right toes out, maybe the left heel out. Lengthen up, inhale. Bend your knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Check your alignment, look towards your right fingertips and stretch away, maybe bend your knees a little deeper. Breathe in and out. Another breath Inhale. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Reach your right arm forwards and lengthen your trunk forwards. Keep your toes down. Bring your right hand onto your shin or onto the block and reach your left arm up. Lengthen towards the crown of your head. Draw lower ribs down and towards each other. Breathe in. Tailbone lengthening towards the back foot. Inhale, back leg strong. Exhale, look down. Bend your knee and inhale, come back upright. Turn your toes forwards and adjust your feet again. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, lengthen, reach up. Exhale, come halfway down first. You decide, hands on the blocks or on the floor, lengthen your spine first. If this is comfortable, walk your hands so they come in line with your feet and fold your head in. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Legs are not passive. Inner legs pulling up, outer legs rooting down. Spine long. Press into your hands and inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise, come all the way up. And exhale. Good. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, turn the left heel in and the left toes out. Maybe the right heel turns out. Inhale the breath. Pull the spine up. Lengthen first. Exhale. Sink your hips down without reaching forwards or back. If you're not sure, calibrate. Breathe in. Drop that right hip down maybe. Maybe bend your knee a bit more. And look towards your left hand. Breathe in. Lengthen. Lots of space in your neck. Ears moving back. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Reach forwards. Travel, 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 travel. Drop your left hand down onto your shin or onto the block and then sweep your right arm up. Stretch your arm bones away from each other and look towards your right hand. Reach your spine forwards and balance it out by drawing the lower ribs down. Breathe in and out. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, look down. Inhale, climb up. Exhale, hands come to your hips. Toe heel your back foot in and step to meet your left foot. Feet together, arms down, Tadasana. Find your length, press your feet down, reach to the crown of your head. Breathe in and out. Another breath, inhale. Exhale, hands onto your hips. Sink your hips back, Utkatasana, bend your knee. And inhale, bring your arms up any amount or parallel to the floor. Find that alignment, lengthen tailbone, pull the front line of your body down, but tone your lower belly. Inhale. Exhale into your feet and inhale, climb up. Exhale, bring your hands onto your hips. Step your right foot out and broaden your legs. Again, check your alignment, legs are in one line. Good. Turn your right heel in and your right toes out. Maybe turn the back heel at an angle. Bring your right forearm to the inside of your right thigh and draw the knee open. Sink your left hip down. Bring your left hand alongside your body, lean back and scan the horizon. Bring it close to your face and to your ears. One line between your hand and your left foot. Look up towards the sky. Watch that you're not collapsing that right knee in. Breathe in. Is the left leg alive? Are you lifting the inner left thigh up without lifting your hip up? So without hiking the hip up, drop it down. Breathe in. Exhale, look down and inhale without shifting your legs. Pick your trunk up and exhale. Turn the right toes in, right heel out and change. Left foot pattern. Check that your alignment is still satisfactory for whatever you've chosen. Bring your left forearm down, bend your knee, sink your right hip down, but keep the right thigh buoyant. Bring the right arm alongside your body and lengthen your spine. Bring your right arm alongside your ears, maybe look up towards the sky and stretch, extend out of your sit bones. Legs are strong. Breathe in. Check that you're not over contracting your muscles, not over engaging your muscles. Find length. Reach instead. Find space. Breathe in. Exhale, look down. Without changing your legs, inhale, bring it up. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Turn your toes forwards and bring your hands onto your hips. Check that your feet are in one line. Turn your toes slightly in. Inhale, pick up the front of your body and exhale, fold forwards. Hands down or in line with your feet. Forward fold. Hold here. Breathe in. Check your shoulders are not pulling into your ears. You don't want to overextend it away as well. You're just engaging your shoulder blades into your back. Breathe in. And out. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Hands to your hips as you exhale. Inhale, lift your chest to come up. And exhale the breath. Toe heel your feet in a little. And step your feet together. Shake out your legs. So come down to sit. Well done. So those are all the fundamental postures. We didn't do any standing forward bend yet, so look at the other series and we will cover that. I just wanted to break the series down into like the standing postures because there's so much in them. And you know, with practice I always say, it took me so many years to figure out what Warrior 2 was. It seemed like such a simple pose, but I felt like there was so much alignment in it that was making me go nuts. Every time I spotted myself, it just didn't feel right. And eventually, and you will know when it's right because you will feel fully embodied. You will feel comfortable in the pose, but strong at the same time. Like with strength, but with ease. And then you know you kind of got it. But you know, in yoga practice, you never ever get there because the body's evolving all the time. So don't ever look for a shape, but look for a sensation because your cells are changing every day. And the more we practice, the more our muscles change as well. So always look for that sensation. You will know when you're there. So come onto your back for a moment. It's so important to finish in Shavasana. Even if you could just spare like a couple of minutes. Feet are hip distance apart. Arms can rest on your body or palms out to the side. Close down your eyes, and since we worked the legs a lot today, bring your attention to your legs. Notice how they feel right now. Become aware of your groin, the space in your groin. And see, just with your mind, can you very deliberately relax everything? Just let it go. Allow the legs to get heavy. Release the sensations around your groin. Check in with your feet also. Notice how the arches of your feet feel. How your toes feel. And release and relax everything. And then feel your whole body. Notice the sensation of your whole body. And release and relax everything. And you feel your body just returning to its natural sensation. The breath is slowing down, returning to also its natural rhythm. And then once you feel like you've done all the work, just for a moment, let the mind go, rest everything, rest it all. And in this way we train our body to put effort in, but also to release effort. Super important. So, please stay here for as long as you need. I'm going to end the session here, but please feel free to stay on your mat, on your back, until you feel fully ready to come up. And when you feel ready to come out, never rush to come out. Take a moment, take your time without shocking your nervous system. Always come onto your side first and slowly make your way up to sit. So thank you for following this series. I will be adding like more and more series for beginners to teach you the alignment of these wonderful poses. But you know, the fundamental postures will take you through to the more intermediate postures. So do the fundamentals well, and the funky stuff will come naturally with practice.